And now it's time for Southern California's sports fishing voice. Let's talk hookup. For the next 2 hours, join Pete Gray, Rock Cod Rick Mexa, Corey Sandin, and this week's special expert guest for fishing information, new techniques to catch more fish, and the most current scoop on what's happening in the water. Let's Talk Hookup is sponsored in part by Royal Polaris, the world's finest long-range sports fisher. By Ford, the official truck of Let's Talk Hookup, and Shimano Rods and Reels. Fish with the best. Shimano. Get ready for the fastest 2 hours on radio with the hosts of Let's Talk Hookup, Pete Gray, Rock Cod Rick Mexa, and Corey Sandin.
Good morning, anglers, and welcome to Let's Talk Hookup. Man, do we have a great show coming for you today. We have a surprise guest, a little bonus, a little savior of a guest. We were obviously excited to have Jim Hendricks in here talking all the great things about CCA, and unfortunately Jim's a little under the weather, so we got the man, pulled him out of retirement. Wayne Kotow is going to be here, and I don't know that there's anybody better to be talking some CCA today. We're going to be having a great show, lots of fun. Pete is out of the studio up in Montana catching some trout, but Corey, I, and Wayne will be talking fishing with you. You stay tuned. You're listening to Southern California's sport fishing voice. This is Let's Talk Hookup on the Let's Talk Hookup app, Facebook and YouTube Live, and 97.3 The Fan.
It's employee pricing, and it's happening now at your San Diego County Ford dealers. That's right, employee pricing across a full lineup for trucks and SUVs. A lineup featuring California's #1 truck brand and Ford F-Series, America's all-time best-selling SUV and Ford Explorer, the iconic Ford Bronco, and more. No automaker employs more hourly workers or assembles more vehicles here in America than Ford Motor Company. And that's a commitment your San Diego County Ford dealers share by offering employee pricing to you. It's only for a limited time. Exclusions apply. Hurry to your local San Diego County Ford dealer today.
This is Duke Ekstrom from the Royal Star. In 1983, a group of intrepid anglers envisioned crafting the best sunglasses on the water. It's true now as it was then. Costa's performance frames excel in the toughest of elements. These styles are packed with functional features that create a competitive advantage for any adventure on the water. From the lake to offshore, Costa's Performance Collection has a legacy of helping anglers stay on the water longer. Learn more at CostaDelMar.com.
For your next fishing adventure, check Point Loma Sport Fishing. They offer half-day and full-day trips daily, perfect for families and the novice or seasoned fishermen. Point Loma Sport Fishing also offers overnight to multi-day trips, targeting the best of seasonal catches. Visit PointLomaSportFishing.com, where you can purchase tickets online and get more information on the trips available, or call 619-223-1627. Want to go fishing? Point Loma Sport Fishing has you covered.
All right, welcome back to Let's Talk Hookup, and stoked for a little bit of diversion here, Rick. It's all good, man.
Yeah, today's going to be a fun day, and like I said, exactly as you described, a little punt and take the ball down the field, and I don't want to say this to our buddy Jim, but man, we had a pretty major upgrade in the old. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding, Jim. Well, we wish you well. Just a little under the weather, and we'll certainly look forward to having Jim here again. But great to have a great bud in the studio, and an old retired, just spends all his time fishing, these days, guy, and our great friend Wayne Kotow. Good morning, buddy.
Morning. Surprise.
Well, we're certainly stoked to have you, and what great timing. I mean, obviously there's so much great stuff going on, but also you've been getting a little bit of fishing in. We've been trading stories. You were up in Alaska, out of Gustavus, the same time we were doing our Let's Talk Hookup trip to Kingfisher, and boy, sounds like you guys had another really good time and some good fishing up north.
Absolutely, it's always fun. We were out there with the Stokes on Fishing fishing group, and no matter where you go, it's fishing, and Alaska is just beautiful. So just go for the scenery and go for that boat ride, man. We had beautiful weather while we were up there. Fishing's a bonus, right? You get to catch your king salmon, you get to catch your halibut, and I caught 11 other species, so it was all good.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. And we gave you a hard time the last time you were here. You may have taken the hat as the busiest guy, the busiest retired guy I know.
That's exactly right.
Retirement for most means hanging out and sitting on the couch and watching some TV and, taking the whole week to plan your fishing for Saturday. But you just jumped into all of the other hats you're wearing and are keeping yourself pretty darn busy. Still got the back of every fisherman out there.
Sometimes you just can't let it go. It's ingrained in you. The passion is still there. The network is there. You don't just want to give that up. The influence is there. And I'm still pissed off over what's going on.
Right?
So,
I mean,
it fires you up, right?
It's almost contagious, right? Like you
Yeah.
can't leave it behind, and it's something you grew up with. We've all grown up with, and it's an everyday battle, like trying to keep everything in line.
Yeah, exactly. The good part is I don't have to go to every meeting now, and all the other stuff that goes with it. I get to pick and choose which ones I want to go, and I pick the battles that I think I can fight.
And Chris and Tony, I mean, they've got the reins,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And we're still, CCA board is one of the largest boards out there for the CCA organization, and it's strong. So we have the board and we have committees. So it's not just one or two people doing all the work. It's a group of people doing the work.
What states have a CCA type? I mean, Texas, Florida.
We're in 19 states across the country.
Really?
So it started in Texas, went across all the way to Florida, up the East Coast, and then Oregon, Washington, and then California was the last chapter in 2015.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Because it's California that benefits from the backbone of the already existing organization, right? I mean, we're thankful to have you and Tony and Chris, but having the backbone of the organization nationally.
Oh, that, I looked at it as it's a grandparent-parent-child relationship. You have the grandparent, which is national, which keeps the ship steady. The parent would be us, and then the child will be the local chapters that you build.
And let's face it, I mean, without getting too political, all the stupidness that happens in California, and it starts here and
exactly.
Spreads nationally. So they don't want things to start here because it may eventually end up.
Or things that could start here, they get a better heads up about what's happening, how it's working, how we're fighting it. If we're successful, like 30 by 30, it started here.
Yeah.
And it replicated across to the national level, the federal level. And if you read America the Beautiful, which is the federal 30 by 30 effort, it actually has a lot of our pieces in there of how we fought it and what we tried to fight for to support the recreational angling community. So we do have influence across the country.
You've always said CCA California is so important to the national group just because, I mean, let's be real, this is California and there's a lot of extreme environmental groups, and this is where a lot of things get started. They, groups that would love to stop fishing or stop whatever, they often have a little better opportunity in California. So this is the starting point of people trying to put their foot in the door. So a lot of the national, backs off of what California has gotten done. And boy, you at the Reign for all the years, and now the great job, like Corey was saying, that the rest of the crew is doing with Chris and Tony and everybody. Everybody watches our fight, and and how it happens, and like this is where so many things start. And CCA Cal is a very important part to the national program.
Yeah, if you look at what's going on, we'll go back to the 30 by 30. It's California that's trying to set up not only on the national stage but the international stage. I mean, they went internationally to go stand up there and say we're leading the nation and the country on 30 by 30. And we just got recognized by IUCN, the international board for that whole 30 by 30 movement, for California's MPA network, which if you go way, way back before this all started, we were already green to them. We already had met certain requirements. So again, they're trying to set the standard so much higher because we already meet the national standard for America the Beautiful 30 by 30, but yet they want to do more. And that's why we have to keep being vigilant, because it's not about we were all for the environment, conservation, sustainability.
Who isn't, right?
We're just against the lack of access that they keep trying to put at us.
Yeah.
So we just have to stay on it.
And it's just, you get so frustrated. Like, once California is different from other places. You and I were just in Alaska, and this year, as a recreational angler, there was some pretty heavy restrictions that were happening in Alaska. The attitude up there is just different. I mean, certainly it's difficult when you're used to catching this, and now you can't. But Alaska fish is managed so differently. Like, if something goes away this year, that has almost no bearing on the next year or 2 years later. Things come and go, and we've seen limits get reduced and then bump back up again, or fish fall off the take list and then come back on, or this year the returns were expected to be low because the year that the smolts were produced was a very dry year, so that particular year class isn't going to be good, so they dropped the limit down for that year, and then the next year they had a bunch of rain, they bring it back up. California, it just sure feels like when something falls off, it's gone. You might as well never think about it again. You know,
we felt the same way with our salmon, right? We were shut down for a couple of years on the salmon, recreationally and commercially. We just got a season open this year, a small season, 2 days.
Which is
2
crazy.
days, which was a 7,000 fish limit, and we crushed it, went over it by like 9,100 fish.
Oh, so it did go over in those 2 days.
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
10,000 anglers went out to go hit them, and that went everything from San Luis Obispo all the way up to Crescent City. Everybody went out and got them.
How do you, let me ask you this. I sorry to cut you off, Wayne, but how do you handle that for an industry, right? Like the tackle shops and how do you, a 2 day season just doesn't, and it supersedes it in 2 days. Could they,
you know what?
Is there something else, man?
And the hard part is they didn't know they were going to have a season until earlier this year when it was voted in at the Pacific Fisheries Management Council and then approved with NOAA, National Marine Fisheries Service. They had to approve it, and then it came down to the state to open it up, right? Now, if we had not hit that limit of 7,000, there were extra dates in July and August, and we could have had more. Now, the only other thing is there's another season for the fall that they'll open up another 2 days with another amount, right? Another 7,000, and we'll see what happens there.
Like spread it out a little bit, right? I mean,
well, you got to still stay within, the
parameter,
the fish are going to be around, and everything.
It was that the thought was 7,500 fish was or pounds. I forget whatever the two. Was the thought and the goal, and exactly like Wayne said, if that wasn't met, then there was going to be another 2 days in July, then there's going to be another 2 days in August. Well, it just happened to coincide with really good weather, so all of the ports up and down, northern and central California became available, and sometimes, this time of year, there can be, up north is some real weather, and if there's big wind and big swell, then but it was just met with great weather, so everybody's was able to have access to it, and there was a big batch of very hungry fish, and I think the goal was 7,500, and I think
7,000.
7,000, and I think I heard there was like 10,000 caught just out of the San Francisco Bay Area the first day. You know what I mean? You can't you can't really react. You can't react that fast, and you can't So, anyways, it was met with some very good fishing. So the boys got some good fishing in it.
And they tried to regulate it very hard. They had 100 different CDFW officers up and down the coast trying to count those fish to make sure they understood how many were caught.
Yeah.
So they're claiming that the 9,165 fish were caught with 10,000 anglers.
Wow.
In the 2 days, right? That's what they're claiming. So we have another season coming up this fall. 7,500 is for the fall harvest coming up.
Nice, okay.
So that'll happen in September 29th and 30th.
Yeah, very
interesting.
Yeah. Well, another big one that I know you had a big hand in, what that has recently happened was sand bass, and that was a thing that was on the ropes, and yet again, here was a thing that none of us thought twice about, and you go about your daily fishing, and all of a sudden we all turned around, and all of a sudden sand bass was about to be off the table for all of us, and CCA as well as SAC. I know a lot of people put up a very hard fight, and again, a hugely successful mission.
It's a stay of execution right now because it's still on the plate. Okay. All we did was say, give us a time to get the data that you're missing to tell the story that you guys are falsely representing right now. That's what the story was.
Okay.
They used a bunch of old data and false data to create a storyline that didn't meet what was actually going on the water.
Yeah.
What we believe is, and this is what we think happened, when you do all these studies, you go out and you do a survey or multiple surveys. By the time you look at that, analyze it, put it in your charts and present it, it's 3 years later. That cycle has already possibly shifted, and it's already bottomed out and it's coming up. But by the time they want to do regulation changes, it's already too late. They didn't take their foot off the pedal when it was going on the down cycle. Now they want to take their foot off the pedal on the up cycle. Yeah. And that's what we believe. Right now, the sand bass are coming back hard, right? They're everywhere.
Yeah, great fishing up and down the coast.
SAC is doing their surveys. CCA Cal has their SAR tournament, which there's a sand bass for big ones and shorts.
I thought that was such a good idea.
And they just did a survey on one of the boats up in Orange County. They caught 600 bass in one day. They had two CDFW people, which one of them was the CDFW person for the sand bass.
Okay.
Armand.
Awesome.
He was on the boat. 600 bass, and they measured every one of them.
Awesome.
So what we're going to be able to show with this data and surveying that we're doing, the breadth of the amount of sand, where the sand bass are, the amount of biomass that's out there, which we kept claiming, and that there's all age classes, which they kept claiming there weren't. That's why the shorts are so important. And that's why we need everybody to be participating in these surveys, especially the guys that are inside doing the kayaks and inshore that can catch the sand bass, because they're not out on the flats.
Yeah.
Small fish don't stay out there unless they want to die because they become bait.
So showing a population of sublegal fish has become more important than anything.
Correct.
I didn't know
because
that.
what they were claiming that there wasn't that population out there, and that if we go and hit the spawning class during the summer, that we were going to cripple the future.
Yeah,
that was their argument.
Their argument was there's nothing to replenish those.
And
that's
nothing
the big ones out. There's nothing left.
Nothing farther from the truth.
Yeah, totally.
We have all age classes out there right now, and in quantities.
And again, that is why part of the Star Tournament, the CCA Cal Star Tournament, was that sand bass, like every fish has a particular size that makes it a qualifier. Sand bass has its own unique category for sublegal fish.
Correct.
And it's its own thing because
Correct.
we want as much proof, as much data, as much info that there are a lot of sublegal size fish that are out there being caught.
Absolutely.
There's some people that just hate the term regulation, right? Like they just fret and they grit their teeth, and it's just a bad thing. But
I'm not far from one of those people.
Right? I know, me too. me too. But
I'm not far from it.
But I'll sprinkle a little bit of goodness on it, right? Because look at the bluefin.
Totally.
Like we were freaked out. We're only going to be allowed 2 fish.
Almost lost it.
Right? And CCA and SAC and I mean saved us with 2 fish,
Totally.
Which. Dude, I mean, I just saw the American Angler unload. Are you kidding me? Beautiful.
Have you
fish.
seen the cycle? This is interesting because when in 2015, when they came in, they were big. Remember that?
Yeah.
We were all throwing poppers and everything, and we had that
please.
age class.
I want that right now.
Yes. But if you look at what's happening, we went through a cycle of really big ones, and then they started trickling down to different age classes. And we got one fish that was tagged. Byzantine actually brought in one tagged fish from Japan. But if you're looking what happened last year, the age class changed a little bit. But then we came back with a passion right now where we have those big fish, but we also have those little
small
fish.
ones.
In other words, there's that whole next class of fish coming through, and we believe those other big fish went back to spawn.
Wow.
Because you're not seeing those 400-pounders or 300-pounders.
So there's a full cycle. Like,
I think we went through the cycle.
So when Tim Extra was on here last weekend, he said they were coming up on a school of 8 to 10, 12-pound bluefin. Like, just like you're talking about, right? Like that hasn't been here. That's new.
That's a new cycle coming through.
And guess what? He saw an 18-pound albacore swiping through the school.
Hey, no way.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, from the wheelhouse looking down.
Oh, yeah. That's right. You've been going
like unmistakable, the fins spread out. Like,
like
I got to listen to the first half of that show in the air, literally in the airport, like on the airplane. Like I even was the guy that got tapped on the shoulder. Like, sure, you're going to need to turn that off. You know, I was really into it. Like I got the first hour, and then I regrettably haven't hit the archive up to finish the second half hour with Tim and Duke. But it was really fun. That was a great show.
But just to know that age class, like you're talking about, is around. Like that's new.
Yeah.
Like that's come this year, right?
That's right. But
Incredible.
that's why our science is so important. Why we need to do these surveys. Why people need to engage and help us with it. Because that information will feed into the International Tuna Commission. That is why we do these surveys, and it drives our future.
And we're in a great cycle of it right now. I mean, This to me, I mean, the setup is just so right for the rest of our summer going on right now. Like what our sport boats and day and a half and 3-day guys are doing right now, to me, it's ideal. You know, we still have that. The only thing that we could add to it is a little more daytime fly line fishing. You know, grab your 40-pound rod and just pick a bait out of the bait tank and cast it out in the sunshine where you're wearing your shorts to hook a fish that way. A little bit more of that, and it would just be perfection. But we have very good nighttime jig fishing going on right now of what I think are the perfect size ones. They're like, call them 40 to 140s seems to be about the size of it. Lots of 60 and 80-pounders, plenty of 100-pounders, some big giant trophies that come with it, even some that are a slight less, some 30-pounders, but lots of good biting, nice fish to bring home. And then the daytime, we have seen a real increase this week in some of those big trophies on the kite. So the daytime has been quality over quantity, and then the nighttime switches to quantity more than quality. It's just been really good, and this yesterday morning at the landing was a wild one. Big weekend coming up, lots of boats going, which means lots of boats returning. Guys were so fired up that got off those last rounders. We just had a really fun morning at the tackle shop. It was that typical San Diego landings buzz. Everybody who was coming off the boat had epic trips. Everybody who was going out obviously was fired up because they're seeing the dock carts get pushed up and all the big tuning around, and then there's all the hot jig. Oh, they killed him on the Katy Perry. You got to buy this one. And it was just fun, man. It was a really, really good day. Lots of talk about Eddie bombs. Lots of talk about tungsten. It was just fun. It was a really, really good day. It's like what the landing is supposed to be when you come down.
The parking lot's packed.
It was packed,
It's
man.
packed. I walked into there. Came on. Oh, my God. The parking, it must be summer.
Yeah, it was.
It happened.
It definitely happened.
It happened.
It was just that wildness of fun and great fishing. And the local fishing has been tremendous.
Insane, Rick. Insane. It's some of the best. Talk about regulation kind of stuff. Dude, I never thought the calico fishing could be this good. Seriously, good. It is hundreds of fish. I mean, up to 500-600 fish with maybe 300 released, 250 kept.
But that's okay. That's our future again.
Dude, it's crazy. I mean, they're
the white sea bass.
Yes.
Yeah, how about that?
Right?
You're catching it on a half-day twilight trip. You're catching it while you're catching calicos. It doesn't matter. You don't have to be stealthy and in the dark and, be silent. They're catching them all up and down our coastline right now, and they're big.
You're talking my language.
They're big.
All of the landings, all the way up and down the coast, all the local trips, you're seeing exactly 1s, 2s, 3s, and then that as always never tells the story. You nailed it, Wayne. The guys from the half-day boat came in just freaking out. Our boat had 3 in the morning yesterday, but
3 they kept.
Three that they landed.
Yeah,
exactly.
right.
3 they kept. There was probably another story of another 8 or 10. Oh, this one was hooked on an upside
Zing
down
Powie.
spinning rod and it went around the anchor. There was all of those things. Also, it was just it's cool, man. This is a great time to be fishing.
I think we're experiencing the cycle of chovy, man. Bring it on.
And squid.
Well, squid. Yeah, this is so squid too. Most of these boats have squid, and it's wild what that can do for us too, man. They sure like it. Yeah, no doubt. Well, we're having a great time and so much fun stuff to talk about. So much good fishing going on, and then obviously having Wayne in here is just going to be a great show, Corey.
Oh, great conversation with good friends and just. Man, from calico bass to bluefin, we've got Wayne Kotow in studio in the world headquarters here. And if you want to join us, we'd love for you to do so. You can give us a call, first hour. We're on the Fan at 97.3 The Fan. And the telephone number, 833-288-0973. Or you can send us a text via the app, and that's only done through the app. You want to make sure that you leave your name and telephone number, because at the end of the show, Wayne's going to flip the prize coin to see whether we're giving away that full-day trip on the San Diego to a lucky caller or a lucky texter. Man, somebody's going fishing on the San Diego with Brawler.
Cool
I know, right? I mean, some perfect action, calico, few barracuda, a couple yellowtail. Hey, we're going to be right back with Wayne Kotow in the world headquarters on 97.3 The Fan, YouTube, Facebook Live, and Let's Talk Hookup.
Looking for the ultimate Alaska fishing experience and the best value in Alaska? Look no further than Kingfisher Charters in Sitka, Alaska. A trip to Kingfisher includes everything you need to make your experience legendary. The finest fishing fleet in Sitka with the best captains, deluxe accommodations, gourmet food, world-class fish processing, and the best part, it's all included for one amazing price. Kingfisher is Let's Talk Hookup's most popular destination. Hundreds of listeners have experienced Kingfisher Charters, and most go back again and again. You have probably heard a lot of big promises from other Alaska lodges, only to find there were lots of hidden charges. Not Kingfisher. Everything is included. 10-hour fishing days, your license, fish processing, super deluxe accommodations, amazing food, airport transfers, and fishing gear. All you bring is your layer clothing, and Kingfisher covers the rest. Kingfisher Charters, your Alaska fishing destination. 800-727-6136 or check kingfishercharters.com.
This is Captain Tim Ekstrom from the long-range vessel Royal Star. With my partners Randy Toussaint and Brian Sims, we have set the bar for the long-range fishing experience. Spring 8-day, summer 5-day, or fly-down, fly-back 11-day winter trip, we deliver the highest quality long-range voyage you will find. From our premium RSW fish storage to our top-of-the-line chefs and crew, Royal Star distinguishes itself from all others. Want to grab a spot on the Royal Star? Check us out at RoyalStarSportFishing.com or call Tracy at 619-224-4764.
Pelagic is bringing back the California tuna Challenge. Get ready for the most exciting tournament to hit the West Coast on August 22nd and 23rd. It's about the fun, it's about the tuna, and it's about your chance to cash in on big prizes. An affordable $500 entry fee per team gets you in. This fun 2-day format is open to all Southern California anglers with 3 official weigh stations in San Diego, Newport, and Catalina. Optional jackpots and side bets up to $41,000 all in will raise the stakes for huge cash payouts, including options for yellowtail and dorado. The big tuna are here. Win some major cash and bragging rights in the ultimate California offshore showdown. Registration is now open. Go to PelagicTournaments.com for additional information, rules, and to register for this great fishing event. The Pelagic California Tuna Challenge, August 22nd and 23rd. Just $500 gets your team a shot at the ultimate California tuna bragging rights. Check PelagicTournaments.com.
Turner's Outdoorsman, Southern California's #1 shooting, hunting, and fishing tackle retailer since 1971, is right in your neighborhood. Now with stores throughout Southern, Central, and Northern California. No one does it better. Turner's Outdoorsman brings you the best prices and selection, plus a knowledgeable staff that will help make your day on the water or in the field more fun. Stop by your neighborhood Turner's Outdoorsman. To find the location nearest you, check the web at turners.com and sign up for special deals and more.
All right, welcome back to Let's Talk Hookup. And like mentioned, Wayne Kotow in the World Headquarters. Had great conversation, good fun, and good stories, and talking good stuff. And you want to join us, 833-288-0973, or you can send us a text, a message, a question or comment for Wayne via the app.
No doubt. You know, we got a lot of great phone calls coming, and just like Corey said, if you want to get through there, Kyle is standing by this morning. It's 833-288-0973. But I wanted to start off this morning with a text. I just thought this was a fun one from our buddy Rory in Lakeside. He says, "Good morning, guys. Can't thank CC enough for everything you do. Wayne, now that you're, quote, retired, are you getting a lot more fishing in? My big question for Wayne is, what are the fisheries that you've dabbled in most recently, and what do you consider your favorite? Also, Corey, I picked up some white fluke-style MCs. They've been great. That purple and pink sheen that you have is my favorite. Do you prefer a weighted hook, or do you like the sled head on those? Great show, guys, from Rory and Lakeside."
Interesting. Yes, I'm starting to get into more fishing now that the first quarter's gone. I actually have fishing trips lined up every month, at least once every month for the rest of the year.
That's the way to do it.
Boy.
And this
Dude,
year,
you're going to Cedros right now, right?
I doubled up this month. Something came up, and an opportunity with Rosie came up, and I'll be on the Let's Talk Hookup trip next week. So
How
I just
cool.
got back from Alaska. I'm here for a week, and then I go to Cedros.
Nice.
Come on.
Right on,
That's
Wayne.
the retired life.
That's
Now
how
we're
we
talking.
do it, buddy.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it.
Dude, and the fishing down at Cedros right now?
Of going to Alaska to Cedros, yeah. And look at what they're doing there.
You're right.
Same thing, man. It is wide open. You can get the trifecta in a day, right?
Yeah.
Or even more than that, because you can get the yellowtail, the halibut, and the white sea bass on top of all the bass and everything
So
else.
cool.
Sheep's head. I mean, it's all going on right now. So timing's great.
Yeah, dude, such good time.
All right, fishing an MC fluke. How do you like to rig it? You sled head, traditional lead head, a weighted hook?
The sled head bugs the heck out of me. There's not a big enough hook. Okay, that's out. Guys
You didn't take long on that one.
No,
That's
no.
out.
Guys are drop shotting them.
Okay.
I mean, like the whole fluke thing up and down the coast. It's like the drop
crazy,
shot
right?
thing, right? I mean, Rick, that's something we were promoting 20 years ago. Do you remember?
Totally, yeah.
Drop shotting, the whole thing. I even made a drop shot bait. Remember that? But so lead head for me is probably the one.
Okay.
Yeah, you'll get a lot more. The lighter the head you can get away with, the more redirection and zigging and zagging you'll get in drawing that reaction bite. That to me is the way to go.
You're less concerned with bottom contact, more concerned with that bait being able to find its own path and do its own thing.
I mean, the bite might be halfway down.
Mm-hmm.
It could be 10 feet off the bottom.
Sure.
But if you're anchored with a drop shot, I mean,
totally.
I guess you're in the zone, right? But
Yeah.
but you're missing part of it. I don't know.
I'm a fan of working the zone with the bait.
Yeah.
You never know where those fish are going to be, and you can work the water column, and that's what we did in Alaska to catch so many fish.
Right.
Work the water column.
Yeah, exactly.
And if a guy's fishing, there's a lot of squid around. If a guy's wanting to fish an MC, a fluke style bait, what's a common size of bait and a common lead head size? Like if you're jumping on the new Seaforth and you're going to go fish with those boys and fish some calico bass, and that's what you were thinking. How would you set that
So
up?
you might be in 60 to 90 feet of water, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the fish are lathered up and boiling on the surface. I mean, half-ounce head.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah, you know what? It's small.
Yeah, sure.
Like you want that fall not to go to 15 or 20 feet. You want to get bit at 5 feet, right? So the heavier you go, just the more of a bullet you're sending out. So it's just
you're better off being lighter and letting it have the action to go down without just going through the water column.
And like I said, the lighter the head, the more redirection and the more. And by the way, I made a pile of those flukes for Fisherman's Landing.
Hey,
so
all right.
Tomorrow I'll be unloading at Fisherman's Landing. I know, sweet dude. My hair's getting whiter by the minute, man. It's been a crazy year.
I walk such a delicate line because I know how busy Corey is, and I know he makes those baits, which still freaks me out and makes zero sense that you make them one at a time. Every MC swim bait is made by hand, by you, poured one at a time. Still, dumbest thing in the world. But you just can't. You have to do it.
I know. But here's the thing.
That's why they're perfect.
I don't know if I sound stressed. Maybe I look stressed. Dude, I am so overwhelmed. Seriously. I mean, in a good way. In a very good way. Because the calico fishing hasn't been this good. It's been good.
Yeah.
But it has peaked to a level. I think the size limits and the quantity limit. I mean, it was kind of. It's taken 10 years.
Yeah.
About
2015.
Rick, it's taken 10 years. And it is seriously, the calico fishing is reminiscent of that of the early 90s.
I love that.
Like, it is legit.
Yeah.
It's fun. I mean, a 14-inch fish is a pound and a half.
Yeah, it's a nice fish.
Right?
Yeah.
There's so many, like, 2-pounders.
Yeah.
Like, it's beautiful.
And it's so good. And it's so good everywhere. All the way up and down the coast, the calico bass fishing is
I'm
incredible.
so busy, and it's so good. It's like when the surf's up, and the surfboard shaper, dude, I wish I could get out every hour and enjoy it, but
that's the thing. Like, Corey's one of my best friends. Like, I know exactly how busy the guy. But then on the flip side, I go into the tackle store and I look, and like we have a display of MC swim baits that we are very proud of, and it's big, and there's a lot of them there, and I just watch it daily, just like evaporate, evaporate, and I'm always like, man, I'm going to have to call Corey, but I know I'm going to be like the 30th phone call today. Like, hey, man, we're out of 5-inch MCs. Just let you know. I can't imagine keeping up.
This is a note to everybody out there. When I was at the wholesaler, the one thing we always said was, if you love to fish, don't get in the fishing industry. Because when everything's hot, you got to work. Yeah. You're busy.
You better love pouring 5-inch Christmas tree viejos because there's a lot of Cedros guys getting ready to go south with the road. At some point, we're going to have to rename that bait the Rosie Special because, she is responsible for so many of that, call it watermelon, call it Christmas tree, call it whatever you want, boy, that Cedros crowd buys those by the handfuls. Corey comes in every year and knowing that, takes care of us with a lot of those, and you can always spot a guy that's getting ready for Cedros because he comes up to the counter with 2 handfuls and they're all those red and greens.
So
it's
crazy.
It's pretty fun.
But sorry you're so empty right now.
Kidding.
But tomorrow,
I'm kidding.
Tomorrow's the unload, and
there it is.
I'm bringing what I have. And I'm just, you know what? I'm grateful for you and the family shops I have, and for the customers and the listeners of the radio show that support it. And it's just from my heart. Seriously,
awesome,
it's a beautiful thing.
It's a fun thing for sure. Well, speaking of fun things, we got a lot of fun guys on the phone. Excited to talk to Wayne. Let's jump into the phones, Corey.
Let's do it. How about John? John calling from San Diego. Good morning, John.
What's up, John?
Good morning, guys. I thought it was really interesting. You're talking about how the Alaskan fishery is managed, and it seems like it's a little bit more science-based and constantly adjusted based on the conditions that are observed. What do you think it would take to get California to have a more of an Alaskan model to manage our fisheries?
Everything's based on process. It doesn't matter if it's federal or if it's state. And our processes are based on fisheries management plans, stock assessments, analysis, and then forecasting. And that process is pretty set right now. The thing that we need to work on across Fed and state level is we need to be more dynamic because things change too quickly now. And the management plans are reactionary, not forward-thinking. Every other industry I know of is just-in-time type methodologies of forecasting. We don't do that in fisheries management plan. We go out there and we look at what the stock is. We do an assessment A lot of times they don't have the staff to do it, so then it's statistical. By the time you take that and do the analysis through a team, present that to a management body, whether that's Fish and Game Commission or Pacific Fisheries Management Council, they have to go and have open discussion, public input. By the time you do a regulation, it's a year later. God. You're behind. You're already looking in the past, like 3 years. That's not dynamic enough.
That's
our fisheries
crazy.
change too fast, and that's one of our problems. But we're stuck in process, and those are all written in code, in statute, or procedures. And so to change that, we need to figure out how to do that. But you also don't want to lose your stability of your management actions. You don't want to be too reactionary where you're always going hot, cold, hot, cold. You can't do that either, because that'll kill everybody. So it's not as simple as it sounds. We're all looking for a solution. We're all trying to think of a solution. If you guys come up with one, please get it to us. But right now, that is probably the biggest problem we have. We just can't be dynamic enough.
The other thing is, some of those places, Alaska certainly being one of them, the fish and the commercial fishing and the recreation, I mean, it's a huge part of industry of the state, amongst the very biggest, and that is managed very closely, for it. And it seems like all of the management is done on behalf of the fish and the success of fisheries here. And I could be wrong, and Wayne, you would know much better than I, but it has the feeling that some people who are on, whether it be Fish and Wildlife Committee, they're not everybody is pro fishing, here. And in some of those states that are managed that way, they very much are. And, here it's like a split decision between people who are all for it. And I hate to say that, there's people who are just not.
Yeah. Alaska is very fishing centric, right? Mm-hmm. Between recreational and commercial. It's so large to them, they have to stay focused on it more. Ours, it's one sport of how many out here, right? Yeah. We have so many options out here. In California, recreational fishing is worth $6 billion to California. So that is not a small chunk, right? No. We should get more emphasis on recreational fishing than we do, just because of our input to the income to the state.
Yeah, that's a big number.
It's a big chunk.
It is a big number.
Yeah. So, we have a million anglers in California.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Which is pretty good, really.
For how hard it is and expensive it is, we're one of the most expensive licenses in the country.
You're right.
Right.
And I had a friend in Florida, explaining to me, you're a senior citizen, it's free.
Yeah.
We
tried that. We tried to get that.
and the other thing, we had the gentleman on from, I forget, Rhode Island, and I heard in Florida too, it's the same. If you're going out on a charter boat, you're going out on a 4-pack, your license is part of his, you don't have to purchase a license.
Correct. But there's also different regulations. There's other ways of doing process, right? So in some states like Alaska, a 6-pack operator has a different regulation than if I went out private boat.
Yeah.
Right? There's a different limit, a different allowance of what you can catch and how much you can keep. So there's other ways of regulating. Ours are very complex. If you ever look at our book of regulations, Ricky, you know as much as I do. I love Baja.
I do.
Right?
Absolutely.
It's one piece of paper.
Yeah.
They seem to work for them.
Yeah.
I don't know why ours are so complex.
And they still get their money.
Yes, they do.
Yeah.
Yes, they do.
No doubt about it. Well, hey, a great phone call. Very much. Real quick, we had another fun text. Says, hey, guys, this is Richard from Sacramento. I fished the first day of the salmon season and the last day of the salmon season out of Bodega Bay. It was a wild riot of boats and fish. It was hot, hot, hot. So fun to be out there, and my old lucky lures to see if they still worked. Either way, it was a blast, and we had a great time, and that was from Richard.
Outstanding. Glad you got to be able to go out there. Now go albacore fishing.
Yeah, exactly. I liked the first day and the last. Why don't we jump back into the phones, Corey?
Let's do it, Rick. How about Jeff? Jeff calling from Huntington Beach. Good morning. Welcome to Let's Talk Hookup, Jeff.
What's up, Jeff?
Good morning, guys. Nice surprise to see you on the show this morning, Wayne Kotow. And I just want to thank you for all you've done for us anglers in California. And even though you're retired, I want to thank you for what you're going to do in the future, because I know you won't stop. Appreciate everything. I'm going to participate as much CCA events as I can. And I want to say, and I was part of the Zoom calls for the sand bass, and I can't believe after getting out off Orange County and catching all those bass that we almost lost them. The only thing we're missing was the barracuda schools. But and speaking of white sea bass, nice little white sea bass you got on that jig, Wayne, daytime. Not scalp, but just a perfect hookup.
Yeah, that was during the Don Hansen day. Got it. The last thing was hooked on a jig was a white sea bass.
That's awesome.
Unfortunately, it was a 1/4 inch short.
Oh,
it was right there, but that was a cool bite on light tackle.
It seems like a lot of small ones around, and I don't mean small.
Okay.
I mean
that's part of the hatchery program.
I know it's beautiful. Yeah,
it shows that we have the age classes out there. It shows that we have. I mean, the big ones are being caught. We have biomass, we have abundance, we have age class. Those are the 3 things you need.
At Pete's Beacon Award, I spoke with Trowbridge from Raising Them, right? And he was saying that there was an emergency thing a few years ago where they had to, with the red tide in the lagoon, and they had to get an emergency release of the white sea bass.
Yeah.
Yep.
And they're getting those back.
Yeah. If you
they're getting signal of those coming back.
Yeah, the good news is that we're having this phenomenal white bass season. The great news is that the anglers are listening and they're turning in heads. We're doing the fin clip program. We've had more heads turned in that had coated wire tags this year. Multiples from San Diego releases, Carlsbad release, Channel Islands and Marina del Rey.
So cool.
And they're all out at the islands, right?
Cool.
That's where they're being caught. They've been out there for 20 years.
Yeah.
Right? We're catching these fish.
How cool.
But remember when they were doing that white sea bass survey or that report that said we didn't have a detrimental or a good effect on the biomass out there, the stock?
Yeah.
It was crap. You know why? Because we're showing it right now. Where are those fish?
Yeah,
they're at the islands. They didn't let us use Catalina, San Clemente, or the Channel Islands. They cut it off at Palos Verdes.
Oh,
so guess where all the fish are at?
Out there.
We didn't do it.
Yeah.
And now look at the fish. They're all along our shoreline. But guess where they're at? They're in all the MPAs because that's where all the kelp is.
Yeah.
We can't fish there anymore.
So crazy.
So the fish are there. We're just not getting credit for all that fish. But this year, we're showing it up.
How cool.
We're doing the surveys.
That's awesome.
It's such great information, Wayne. Hold tight. We're going to be right back. You're listening to Let's Talk Hookup, not only on 97.3 The Fan, but YouTube, Facebook Live, and the Let's Talk Hookup app.
Rock Cod Rick here to tell you about Parker Boats and the guys at West Coast Marine. By now, you all know my boat partner and I bought a new 25 Parker center console from crew at West Coast Marine in Costa Mesa. We've known for a long time that a Parker was the boat for us. It's a stout workhorse of a boat built to last and get you home when the seas get rough. Parker Boats at the launch ramp, the offshore tuna grounds. You wake up in the morning on an overnight trip, and there they are. Parker Boats of all sizes, fishing in the same areas as the sporties. There's a good reason for it, fishability and seaworthiness. West Coast Marine has several new Parkers in stock and ready for delivery. And they have more on the way. Don't get caught without a reliable boat when fishing is this good. Take it from me, if you're ready for a new Parker at a fair, upfront, and honest deal, you need to see West Coast Marine. Check out the inventory and information at westcoastmarine.com.
When you're offshore fishing, the right gear makes all the difference, and that includes Fujinon stabilized binoculars from Baker Marine. Baker Marine has been selling binoculars for decades, and more importantly, they service all brands right at their San Diego Shelter Island location. Need the best? The Fujinon Staboscope is the professional's choice. Looking for top-tier stabilization at a great price? The Fujinon TechnoStabi TSX 1440 delivers rock-steady vision even in rough waters. Perfect for serious anglers. Baker Marine is the largest Fujinon retailer on the West Coast, and when you buy from them, they will be there when your binoculars need service. Plus, they'll give you a great price on all their in-stock Fujinon binoculars. Stop by their store on Shelter Island in San Diego and test a pair of Fujinon binoculars and see which one is right for you. The fishing season is here, and you know you need a pair of stabilized binoculars, so get them from the experts at Baker Marine. Learn more at bakermarine.com.
One rod has set the standard for serious saltwater anglers worldwide, and that's CalStar. From the rugged dependability of the West Coast series, the lightweight strength of the Graphiter, or the performance of the GG series, all CalStar rods are handmade right here in Southern California of the finest materials and craftsmanship. Check out the new CalStar models now available, as well as upgrades to the classic rods that you know and love. If you want your tackle to be state-of-the-art tools to get the job done right, it's CalStar at Fine Tackle Dealers.
Have you been looking for a live bait hook that keeps live bait alive? Look no further than Japan's leading fish hook, Gamakatsu. It's the little things that make the difference, and Gamakatsu hooks drive the point home. With an absolute perfect bend and ideal barbs, your bait swims harder and longer. And when you get bit, Gamakatsu hooks bite back with a vengeance. All hooks are not the same. Go with Gamakatsu for infinite success. Gamakatsu, simply the best. Check gamakatsu.com.
Welcome back to Let's Talk Hookup, and having so much fun in the world headquarters with Wayne Kotow. And
talking squids during the break.
Dude, just all kinds of stuff, man.
From little guys to big Humboldts, man. It's everywhere right now.
But it comes from the beautiful cycle we're in. You know,
totally.
The market squid around, anchovy, and just all the short sea bass. I mean, there's so many on the half-day boats up and down the coast. You talk illegal sea bass. It's beautiful, right? Yeah. But there's so many like 10, 12 to 22 pounds. Yes. And that just tells you there's a healthy number of fish, man.
Our fishery is very healthy. If it
Vibrant.
wasn't, you wouldn't see all this life out there.
Yes.
Think about all the whales that are in and all the other mammals that are around, and everything's happening right now. It's a cycle we go through. The one caveat I got to say, or hesitant, is that they're going to do a hake, sardine, anchovy survey. National Marine Fisheries Service is going to do it this year. But what do you think that's going to show on the sardines?
Well,
it's a cycle, right? We're on the down cycle of sardine, up cycle on squid and anchovy.
We've talked on it here many a times because I fished sardine and anchovy, and they mix, but they're oil and water, and not one of them. They don't survive together in the same numbers. One over surpasses the other.
And we all went through this cycle when we all grew up. Then we only had anchovy. Nobody knew what a sardine was. Then we went through this period, and the kids today only know what a sardine is, don't know what an anchovy was, right? Now we're in the cycle going back the other way. But when they go and do that survey and those sardines are around, what are they going to show us in 3 years when they get to the cycle change? The environmentalists are going to jump all over this and say, oh, my God, the stock is crashing, and we're going to have to fight for our live bait fishery.
But, Wayne, that's why we have you, Chris, and Tony with CCA. And like Rick and I were talking on here a couple weeks ago, we don't have deep pockets, right? Rick and I don't have deep pockets, but we help in the small ways that we can, and go to the events and spend $100, spend $200 on raffle tickets, and have fun with it. You know, when's the next event, by the way?
Good.
Next event I think is up in Orange County.
Okay,
it's the golf tournament.
I didn't mean to put you on the spot.
No, I'm trying to think through it.
Leave alone, he's retired.
Right?
I'm just kidding. I'm
going to phone in a friend.
He's going to Cedros.
Yeah, he didn't even know he was going to be on the show 2 days ago.
I think it's the Orange County Golf event, I think.
But go to the events, man.
Yeah, it's so fun.
Yeah, it is.
Great times.
Yeah,
totally. Well, hey, we got a packed set of phones. If you want to get your chance to get through, it's 833-288-0973. Let's jump back into them, Corey.
Let's do that. And how about Tommy from Sorrento Mesa? Good morning, Tommy.
What up, Tommy?
That would be the famous Tommy P.
Is it Tommy P?
Wayne.
Oh,
there it is.
Wayne retired.
Tommy P.
Let's go fishing. There he is.
Come on, man.
Okay, there he is.
Yeah. Hey, you're going to Cedros, huh?
Yeah, it looks like I'm lucky enough to go on the Let's Talk Hookup trip Monday. And I was just wondering, Corey, maybe some tips for that big calico that I'm looking for, and also your connection. What is it? Or are snaps? Can you use snaps or direct tie or a loop knot or whatever? So give me the juice there if you can.
Tommy, you don't need any information from me, man. You got it all. No, Cedros. How do you go wrong? You know, I mean, it's just. There's so many.
Too light a line.
Right? There's a lot of 3 to 4 pounders and up to 5, and it's just. How do you cycle through and get a 9 or 10 pounder? That's just the cycle of the game, you know? I mean, I'd try to go bigger maybe. And connection, I'm a back-to-back uni guy, or I've done that. And the RP knot is like my current thing. RP knot, and I am not a clip guy. Are you a clip guy, Rick?
I hate clips.
I hate clips.
I mean, I probably shouldn't say that. I know there's a lot of great tackle manufacturers that like them, and I know a lot of people lose them. I'm not a clip guy.
I'll tell you what's happened with me in clips. A simple 8 to 9 pound cabria will open them up. Okay. And so they pull hard, I mean, Wayne's looking at me with big old eyes, and they don't like completely open it up to where it's jacked up and ruined, but they open it up enough to where now you're not as slipping through that little crack, and it's now opened up. So if I'm after a 10-pound calico or a 20-pound yellow, for me personally, I'm direct tying.
I always say the same thing at the shop. To me, speed clips are just like Velcro shoes. You can tell me it's faster all you want, but at the end of the day, you know it ain't right.
Right.
You know it's not the right move.
And I know what I'm using.
Sure, it's faster, but man, I don't need. I got that extra couple of seconds. I can tie a pair of shoes.
I have seen it fail more than the 3 times I tried it. That failed 3 times. How about that? That's all I need to know.
Tommy P, are you wearing Velcro shoes on the boat?
Dude, he's packing his stuff for Sadros. When do you guys leave, Wayne?
Monday.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, we leave Monday.
Well, we'll look forward to hearing the report from Rosie here a little later in the show and find out what's going on. But in the meantime, we got another report from our buddy Mike Lum is on the line right now. Good morning, Mike.
Hey, Mike.
Hey, good morning, guys. I thought I better hurry and call in before Wayne slips out on another fishing trip because I wanted to thank him for his help at the captain's reception, the Rollo captain's reception last Sunday night over at Dana Landing. We had a very nice event and raised a lot of money for the kids. And Wayne had been on a nonstop 2-day run from Alaska, got home just in time to grab the stuff and come over and help us at that event. I was so happy and also pleased that he was willing to do that for us. And he made a big help on the auction and running the PA system and the music and all that stuff. Wayne, I just want to tell you thank you for all your help.
Absolutely, my pressure. You know what? I will do everything I can to help the Captain Rollo's Kids at Sea program at all times. It's such a good program. It helps us. That's our future. Taking kids fishing.
And I regrettably wasn't able to make this year, but it sounded like it was a great event. You know, we had a lot of people coming after the fact. We had a lot of people from the tackle store coming the next day that weren't even participating on the send-off of the trip, but just talk about what a great time it was and such a fun venue over at Dana Landing and good food, and it just sounded like an awesome time, Mike.
Yeah, we had a nice event, and the trip, the 2 boats that went out, the Tomahawk and the Liberty, both got into the bluefin, and there were some real quality fish caught. And Captain Dave Marciano's team, Hard Merchandise, they ended up winning this year.
Oh.
So their teammates will all get embroidered jackets sent to them. But this was the 10th Tuna Wars that we've had, and we were so pleased and just appreciative that those guys continue to come out here from the East Coast and help us and help the kids. And everybody, it takes a giant team effort to pull this thing off. And today, more than ever, with all the other fundraisers, very, very good causes that all need help financially, we are so appreciative of the people that come out and buy the raffle tickets and bid on the auction items. And the folks up at Batson Enterprises are just amazing. They continue to come down from Washington, and they bring a bunch of ultra custom rods. We had one of Jim Trelakis' rods that was a Batson Rain Shadow blank that he'd been working on for a long time, and we broke a record. We sold that rod for $3,000.
Wow. Awesome.
$3,000 for that rod, and the others went for a lot as well. And people know, it's not only the rod, but it's the fact that you're helping those kids and you're putting that many more kids on boats because you're willing to be generous like that. And we super appreciate everybody that was there. So,
Man.
Wayne, thank you for all you do to help us, and of course, thank you for everything you continue to do to help the entire industry with your efforts with CCA.
Thanks, Mike. I appreciate it. But man, it's a team effort, right? I mean, what you and Tim and Howard do, Harold at the helm, I mean, and all the other guys that are on the board, everybody chips in. It's a team effort, and all the volunteers. I mean, it takes an army to put off one of these events, and we make it look seamless to the public, right? So it's all good.
Well, as long as everybody has a good time, they don't need to know all the effort that went in behind it. The bottom line is we all do it for the same reason. We want to see these kids get on the ocean for the very first time. And we say it over and over and over. That's what all of these events are about. Every time we do one, the money that goes in the bank puts more kids on boats. It's as simple as that. So thanks all of you guys for all your help.
Well
Appreciate
said,
it.
buddy. That's awesome, Mike. Appreciate
That's
it very
good
much.
stuff.
Congratulations on another great event. And, the bottom line is more kids are getting to go fish it because of everybody's generosity. And well said. Awesome, Mike. Appreciate it very much. We'll look forward to talking to you real soon.
Thanks, Jess.
Yeah, it's good stuff. I want to mention something. I went by Summit Gasoline this morning, Rick. $4.25 a gallon.
Whoa!
Like where can you find it for $4.25?
It's over $5 at my corner gas station.
Dude, I saw it for $4.25. Maybe it changed the minute I left.
That's
maybe it
awesome.
went down. Who knows? But I just want to say this. Summit Gasoline at the San Diego Sports Arena. It's a place to fill up your car, truck, boat. Has the lowest gas and diesel prices. I did also see several skiffs, 21 to 24 foot, filling up and getting their free ice.
That's the no-doubter.
And it's all right there at Summit Gasoline, and they have all those snacks at 89 cents, 40 different snacks at 89 cents. Now you get burritos and sandwiches for your trip, all made fresh daily, and it's nearly half the price of the other places. $3.99 for a 25-pound bag of ice.
That's crazy.
Dude, I'm telling you.
And if you 25, not a 20. It's half the price.
And if you buy 35 gallons of fuel, you get 100 pounds of free ice. It's crazy. That's why all the skiffs were there. Hey, we're going to be right back with Wayne Kotow when we return on the Let's Talk Hookup app. If you're on 97.3 The Fan, tune into the app. We'll be right back.
This is Pete Gray to tell you about my fishing buddy, Dan Hume, and his amazing company, Hume Termite. As you know, Southern California is infested with termites. It's a constant battle for anyone who owns a home, and that's where Hume Termite come in. They're strictly termite experts. They start with a thorough inspection to find out why you have termites in the first place, then recommend sustainable treatment options that work. Hume Termite has been controlling my termites for years, and I have recommended them to numerous friends. Did you know 99% of termite companies are commission-based? Not Hume Termite. They're all salaried employees, and with a thorough inspection, they'll help you solve your termite problems, not sell you something you don't need. Let Dan and his crew earn your business through customer service and trust. It's swarming season, and now is the time to call Hume Termite at 760-598-2201. They'll come out and give you honest answers to solve your termite issues. Check HumeTermite.com.
Guys, this is Ali Husseini from Local Knowledge and BD Outdoors. I'm a lucky guy in so many ways, and one thing I'm really grateful for is my little brother, Yosef. Yosef is not only a fellow angler, but he's also an amazing realtor that specializes in helping us in the angling community find the ultimate home. If you own a home, get a free no-obligation evaluation online now by typing in SoCalHomeEval.com. That's SoCalHomeEval.com. All you do is put in your address and you'll get a home value report immediately sent to your email. No pressure, no obligations, just answers. Yosef is the SoCal real estate go-to guy. He's helped me and so many of my fellow fishing buddies find what they're looking for in a home. He knows anglers and he understands the real estate market. Not only that, but he's also a really nice guy. How many brothers can you say that about? Go to SoCalHomeEval.com and find out where you stand in the real estate market, and then get with Yosef and find your ultimate home. Again, go to SoCalHomeEval.com and we'll see you on the water.
For local or long-range fishing, we have you covered. Hi, this is Doug Kern from Fisherman's Landing Tackle, the saltwater tackle professionals. Being a part of the San Diego Sport Fishing Landing gives us a distinct advantage when it comes to getting you on the latest and hottest tackle for your trip. Our expert staff knows exactly what you need for your long-range or local trip, and we will not sell you something you don't need. We carry a huge inventory of the right tackle. So visit us at Fisherman's Landing Tackle at Fisherman's Landing in San Diego. The name that stands out among anglers is Fisherman's Landing, your top choice in local and long-range fishing. Our hardworking crew will make your fishing experience one to remember. We offer the finest open party trips from 1 to 3 days, the best charter boats available, and of course, our world-renowned long-range fleet is second to none. All our open party trips can be easily booked online at fishermanslanding.com or give us a call. I'll see you at Fisherman's Landing in San Diego.
The fish are biting and it's time to go. Hi, this is Ben, and you will see me at my dad's shop, Dana Landing in Mission Bay, or maybe in front of the shop on my kayak. It doesn't matter if you are out there on a kayak with me, on your boat, headed out on a sport boat. Dana Landing has everything you need. We call it the one-stop shop for a great day on the water because it truly is. Food, bait, tackle, beverages, and more. Our tackle shop, headed by John, is certainly one of the best. For freshwater tackle, nothing beats East East County Bait and Tackle. These guys have the best rods and reels and the hottest lures and live bait. Our newest shop is Lemon Grove Bait and Tackle with a great stock of both fresh and saltwater tackle right in the heart of Lemon Grove. ECBT is at the end of the 67 freeway on Mapleview and Lakeside. Lemon Grove Bait and Tackle, 94 to Broadway in Lemon Grove, and Dana Landing is next to the Dana Lawn Tramp in Mission Bay. Check out danalanding.com for more details.